This is Montana. It's one of the last places in America that still feels the way the whole country used to. Out here, life runs slower. The land is worked by hand. And a man's word still means something. But drive its back roads and you'll pass the proof. That even this place has lost things. Whole towns standing empty. Abandoned so suddenly the tables are still set. The clothes still hanging in the closets. Montana remembers everything and gives up its secrets to no one in a hurry. Behind that wide open sky is a world most people rush right past. Stay with me, and I'll show you the real Montana. So who's still out here in all that space? Not many, a little over 1 million people. Spread across some of the emptiest country in America. The ones who stayed chose it. For the room, the quiet, and the freedom to answer to no one. Out here, the nearest help is a long way off, so people learn to manage on their own. Ask one where they'd rather live, and you'll get a look, not an answer. What they have is the one thing money could never buy. But Montana doesn't give that peace away for free. The same mountains that made men rich were torn open and left to rot. And in places this ground never healed. There's water here so poisoned a single drop could ruin a whole tank. Where the only things alive are creatures that learn to survive on poison itself. That's the deal out here. Astonishing beauty, sitting right on top of something far harder and stranger. And this is only the beginning. Stay with me, because what's hiding in this country is about to change the way you see it for good. Ultamine lies inside a mountain shaft that once plunged straight into the earth, with tunnels long enough to connect entire towns underground. Miners hauled out tons of rock in search of gold and silver, then suddenly stopped, leaving the mountain to crumble and decay from the inside. Over time, water trickling through the abandoned tunnels turned into acid strong enough to kill everything it touched downstream. Strangely, new bacteria appeared in this toxic water, microbes that can eat poison and survive in conditions deadly to nearly all life. Even after cleanup crews replanted the slopes and moved the waste rock, the acid water kept leaking out, as if the mountain refused to heal. The contamination remained so severe that a single drop from the stream could taint an entire water tank. that toxic flow winds through the forest, an unseen danger to rough-fed grouse and other wildlife that stop to drink from its poisoned waters. Camouflaged against the forest floor, these plump birds wear mottled feathers and a dark banded tail, so well hidden that predators pass by until they burst upward with a loud, startling sound. When winter comes, they survive the cold by tunnelling into the snow at night and staying warm inside hidden shelters. As spring returns, a new kind of life emerges in the meadows, the Mormon fritillary butterfly. Male butterflies hatch weeks before females, giving them a head start to find mates, which leaves fewer females in the population. They can only live on wild violets, so when the flowers die out, the butterflies disappear too. Instead of drinking nectar, males get nutrients from mud and animal waste, passing those minerals to females during mating to help them produce healthy eggs. Garnet sprang to life almost overnight as miners rushed to build a town, more focused on the gold beneath their feet than the shaky cabins they built over collapsing tunnels. They named it after the red semi-precious stones they uncovered while digging, small brown-red gems that glimmered like reminders that treasure comes in unexpected forms. When a massive fire destroyed half the town, people walked away and left everything behind: furniture, dishes, and clothes still in place. Today, over 30 old buildings remain, preserved but frozen in time, where visitors report piano music from empty saloons, footsteps, and wood stoves moving on their own. Medicine Rock State Park was once covered by a tropical sea that left behind sand, which later hardened into stone still holding fossils of snakes and mammals. Over time, wind and rain carved that stone into tall, hole-filled towers that now rise from the prairie like a forest of rock. Native Americans once came to this place to find healing plants and seek visions, calling it the place of big medicine, where they believed spirits lived in the stone. The grasslands around the rocks are home to pronghorn antelopes, the fastest runners on the prairie. With large hearts, windpipes, and lungs that act like powerful engines, they push oxygen through their bodies to run at incredible speeds. However, they crawl under fences instead of jumping, which makes them vulnerable to barriers that block their path. When danger appears, one animal flares its white rump patch to signal the herd to flee, helping them escape in perfect sync. During breeding season, males defend small territories and warn rivals with loud snorts and rough coughing sounds. Nevada City sprang to life after miners discovered gold, quickly becoming one of the fastest growing towns in the West. The gold rush changed the valley, and cuts in the land still show how it was torn apart to find gold. However, the boom didn't last. Within a short time, the town emptied as miners left to chase gold elsewhere. Years later, a family revived the town by moving historic buildings from across the region, turning it into a museum town built from pieces of many places. Inside one building, a collection of player pianos and music boxes still fills the air with songs from long ago. A small train carries guests to a nearby mining town and travels through the same canyon, once crowded with hopeful prospectors. Glacier National Park stretches across mountains where rocks were pushed east, with the oldest layers now resting above younger ones. These rocks originally formed as sand and mud on a seafloor, which later hardened into stone. Over time, massive glaciers carved valleys and trails, but most have melted as the ice continues to shrink. The mountains also hold fossilised remains of some of Earth's earliest life, visible in thick stone layers high above. Triple Divide Peak sends water to 3 different oceans and stands out as one of the most unique spots in North America. Nearby Chief Mountain rises sharply from the plains as a lone remnant of the range, separated when the land around it eroded. Rangers and travellers tell of ghostly figures in old lodges and the legendary Bigfoot of Glacier, but the most impressive creatures are the grizzly bears that roam the wild backcountry. These giants have massive claws and a strong shoulder hump built for uncovering roots and ground squirrels. Besides salmon, they scavenge elk and make use of whatever the harsh mountains provide. The grizzlies in the area have sharp memories and clever problem-solving skills, using rocks or logs as tools to reach food that other animals cannot get. In the fall, they enter a feeding frenzy, eating nearly non-stop to store enough fat to survive months of winter hibernation without food or water. Females dig dens on steep mountain slopes where they give birth during hibernation, and the tiny cubs must survive their first months alongside their sleeping mother. A mother bear with cubs becomes extremely aggressive if she feels threatened and will charge hikers, making encounters in dense forests dangerous for the unprepared. When food is abundant, the Flathead River becomes a gathering place for bears from across the park. Originating in the Canadian mountains, it winds through valleys shaped by glaciers into U-shaped gorges. It got its name from a European misunderstanding of Native American Sign Language, so explorers incorrectly called the Salish people Flathead, and the name stuck forever. Local tribes long told stories of a mysterious serpent living in the water, and travellers later reported seeing a huge eel with humps and glowing eyes. This supports a rich variety of stoneflies, creating ideal conditions for trout and attracting fly fishermen from around the world. Efforts to preserve the area led to the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act, a landmark law protecting rivers from dams and development. The campaign to save this waterway showed how communities could successfully fight to keep rivers free and wild. Flowing past it, the route leads naturally to the clear waters of Lake McDonald, the largest lake in Glacier National Park. It sits in a valley carved by glaciers, with colourful rocks scattered across the bottom. Red stones come from iron oxidation, while blue and green ones form in deeper water, which gives the lake floor the appearance of a box of crayons spilled beneath the surface. The water is so cold that plankton cannot grow, keeping the lake crystal clear and allowing visitors to see further below the surface even in summer. The same glaciers that formed this lake long ago also left smaller ones perched on high peaks, like Grinnell Glacier. It lies on Mount Gould and has been one of the most photographed glaciers in the park for over a century. At its base, the turquoise lake shines brilliantly as fine sediment in the meltwater scatters blue light, giving the water an almost unreal colour. Known as the Salamander Glacier, the ice apron gets its name from its snake-like shape and the red bacteria that tints the ice. Experts warn that Grinnell and the park's ice formations could vanish if carbon emissions continue at current rates. The glacier, mountain and lake all honour conservationist George Bird Grinnell, who spent decades fighting to establish the national park. The rushing waters flow through the valley, dropping in multiple tiers to form the cascading beauty of Grinnell Falls, fed entirely by meltwater from high above. During peak summer runoff, the falls roar so loudly that hikers must raise their voices to be heard, and the spray drenches anyone nearby. The constant mist nurtures a rare microclimate, where wildflowers like beargrass and lupine cluster on the cliffs above the falls. Mountain goats, masters of the vertical world, nibble on this growth as they navigate the sheer rocks with ease. They occupy the steepest cliffs in the area, where slopes exceed 60 degrees and predators cannot reach them. With their split hooves functioning like suction cups, they hold tight to the rock and move easily across near vertical cliffs. During winter, they stay on south-facing slopes, where the wind clears snow to show lichen and grass. In addition, they seek out human urine for its salt and have sometimes lost their natural fear of people as they approach hikers boldly. The region hosts the largest native population of mountain goats, and scientists monitor over 37 sites to study how climate change affects them. Their rocky world soon gives way to open skies and the calm waters of St. Mary Lake. Framed by towering peaks, the lake's turquoise surface reflects the mountains, with a small island at its centre completing the picture-perfect view. It has also appeared on the big screen. The opening scene of The Shining was filmed here, showing the dramatic peaks that later inspired the mountain in the Universal Pictures logo. Farther south, the piece gives way to a marvel of motion. Running Eagle Falls, where water flows in a way unlike any other. Here, water drops into a sinkhole and reappears through a natural opening at the base, which creates the illusion of a waterfall that flows onto itself. During spring runoff, the upper cascade hides the lower one, but by summer only the lower falls remain and emerge straight from the rock face. While the falls never rest, life above moves at a slower pace. Alpine marmots bask on rocks, perfectly suited to the cold of high mountains. Their thick fur keeps them warm, even in freezing temperatures, shifting from brown in summer to greyish tones in winter that match the rocky slopes. They lie on flat rocks not to sunbathe, but to cool off and control parasites, a vital part of surviving in harsh mountain conditions. Before hibernation, they eat as much as they can to build fat, foraging only during the few months when snow melts and plants appear. These rodents communicate with sharp whistles, each signalling a different level of danger, and the entire colony responds instantly when predators like eagles or badgers appear. As skilled diggers, they use their teeth and claws to carve burrows through frozen soil, creating underground homes with multiple entrances, nesting areas, and even toilet chambers. Beyond the marmot colonies stands the Many Glacier Hotel, built to bring visitors into the scenic mountains, and at one time the largest hotel in Montana. It has Swiss-style peaked roofs and patterns, brown wood siding, and massive log columns inside that rise 4 stories high. Guests have reported seeing a woman in a red dress, hearing mysterious noises in room 308, and encountering phantom parties in empty spaces. From here, visitors explore the mountain valleys, including Virginia Falls, where water thunders between glacier-carved peaks. It drops in a multi-tiered cascade and can be reached on a round-trip hike from the St. Mary Valley, with smaller waterfalls along the route. Visitors can stand at the base, feeling the ice-cold glacial spray that melted from snow and ice just hours earlier. Wildfires years ago cleared much of the dense forest and revealed the full view of the falls that was once hidden by trees. Castletown rose from nothing into a busy mining town following the discovery of silver and lead, before fading away just as fast. At its peak, the town was packed with saloons, brothels, schools, churches, and shops, a wild frontier where miners spent fortunes on booze and gambling. The Cumberland mine became the top lead producer in the state, but hauling ore so far by wagon without a railroad made it unprofitable, and the town started to decline. Its plaster walls, ornate windows, and roughly cut timber make it a well-preserved ghost town where visitors can see how miners lived. Flathead Lake is the largest natural freshwater lake west of the Mississippi, holding more water than many small countries. Every few years, it completely refreshes itself, with water from surrounding rivers and mountain streams. It also creates its own ecosystem and weather, producing winds ideal for sailing in an unexpected location. Visitors can see all the way to the bottom, and it ranks among the most pristine, clear water lakes in the region, despite being surrounded by people. According to tribal legend, a creature with enormous antlers lives in the lake, and over the years, visitors have reported mysterious sightings of a whale-like or serpent-like animal called Flessie. Wild Horse Island, the lake's largest island, is home to a small band of wild horses that live freely and adapt to the island's isolated ecosystem. Only 5 of these animals roam the island, staying safe from predators, except for the occasional mountain lion that swims across the frozen lake. These small, sturdy horses have coats that match the forest and grass, and their size helps them navigate rocky ground and survive on little food. These herds originally descended from animals that native tribes placed on the island centuries ago to protect them from rival tribes. Later, a ranch on the island raised horses for visitors to ride, but after the owner passed away, animals were left to run wild. Wild horses graze on rare, short grass prairie that naturally grows there and sometimes compete with bighorn sheep for food. They also eat from old apple and pear orchards planted by homesteaders and are among the few wild herds in the world to rely on these trees for survival. Virginia City grew rapidly from empty land into a lively town almost overnight after gold was discovered. Founders tried naming it Verona after a Confederate president's wife, but a Union judge changed it to Virginia, which caused the town to split between North and South. This became the state's capital for 10 years, but collapsed when gold ran out and the capital moved to Helena. An underground mine fire caused significant loss of life and left the town abandoned until it was restored decades later, with buildings rebuilt and preserved. Now it is a living museum where visitors report mysterious sightings, from shadowy figures to disappearing apparitions. In the mountains, Cliff Lake consists of two clear, turquoise alpine lakes formed when a sudden crack in the earth dropped the ground and filled with water. The centennial fault that created the lakes is still moving, so the ground continues to sink while nearby mountains rise, and the area remains geologically active and dangerous. Hidden heat beneath the lakes follows the fault line, and scientists have discovered large, underground geothermal reservoirs that remain mostly unexplored. Its pristine waters and steep cliffs attract wildlife, including American dippers that dive and resurface as they hunt for insects and small fish. Uniquely, they are the only songbirds in the world that live underwater, swimming and diving instead of flying like the others. To survive in these conditions, they have nostril flaps that close underwater, thick waterproof feathers, and tiny white eyelid feathers that flash when they blink to communicate over the roar of the water. In addition, these birds can walk along the stream bottom like little hikers, gripping rocks with powerful toes and flipping stones with their stubby wings to find hidden prey. When excited, they bob and dip rapidly, a behaviour that helps them locate food or signal each other. brave ones build dome-shaped nests, sometimes behind waterfalls, flying daily through falling water to reach them. Both parents sing year-round, with high whistles and trills that are almost drowned out by the rapids. American dippers remain in the same streams of the area all year, with a slow metabolism that helps them endure freezing water while hunting throughout the day. After a prospector discovered rich silver deposits, a remote mountain settlement quickly transformed into a growing community with schools, churches, and hotels. Deep underground, miners extracted so much silver that the town briefly became wealthier than many major cities. Unlike most mining camps of its time, it evolved into a true family town, filled with children and weekend dances at Fraternity Hall. However, one of those gatherings ended in tragedy after a heated dispute over what song to play turned violent. Soon after, winter brought even more sorrow when a deadly diphtheria outbreak swept through the community, claiming the lives of its residents. Though a special railroad line was eventually built to haul ore to market, it couldn't save the town when silver prices collapsed across the nation. As mining stopped, the railroad tracks were removed, and only a few wooden buildings remained, silent reminders of its brief glory. Now, the site stands as Montana's smallest state park, where visitors still report faint laughter and ghostly figures wandering through the old fraternity hall. Mission Mountain rises with sharp peaks, green valleys, and rich wildlife. Beneath those peaks lie some of the oldest rocks in the region, shaped from ancient ocean mud and sediment buried deep underground. Over time, these rocks took on bright red, green and grey hues from hematite, along with mud cracks and ripple marks left behind by ancient waves. Now, the land that shaped these mountains also shapes the experience of those who hunt here with a bow. This is one of Montana's toughest places for archery hunting, with steep peaks, thick forests, and deep ravines testing every step. In early fall, bow hunters move through the backcountry when the weather can change overnight from warm sun to heavy snow. Archery season opens before rifle season, which allows them a few quiet weeks to track elk deep in the timber without the sound of gunfire. The weather can turn harsh in moments, and hunters face freezing nights, long climbs, and sudden storms. Grizzly bears, wolves, and isolation add to the danger, yet those who come here seek more than a hunt. They come for the silence and the test of endurance. Success is rare, but those who draw their bow within a few yards of their target describe a moment like no other. When the mist lifts and a bull elk stands before them, wild and unbroken. They can weigh as much as a car and stand taller than most people, with antlers that rise high above their heads like massive tree branches. During the fall rut, they gather groups of cows and calves, battling rivals for control in fierce fights that sometimes end in death. To attract females, males create their own perfume by digging holes, filling them with urine, and rolling in them, a strange but effective ritual. Their haunting bugle call rings through the mountain valleys at dawn, a mix of roar and whistle that carries for miles. Bull elk eat grasses, sedges and wildflowers in summer, then switch to aspen bark, willow and shrubs in winter, when snow covers the ground. Despite their size, they can outrun horses and leap straight into the air with incredible strength. Each spring, bull elk shed their entire rack of antlers and regrow a new set by fall, ready once again for the battles and courtship of the rutting season. Bannack grew from an empty creek valley into a booming gold town after a valuable discovery in the nearby stream. For a brief time, it even served as the state's first territorial capital, overseeing the frontier before the seat moved elsewhere. Its early prosperity was shadowed by violence. Its sheriff and his gang terrorized travelers with robberies and murders before vigilantes brought them to justice. More than 60 original buildings still stand, preserved in careful decay so they appear untouched rather than restored. In winter, visitors can skate on frozen ponds where miners once searched for gold, surrounded by the town's silent remains. Many say that they hear children laughing in the empty schoolhouse, feel sudden chills in Hotel Mead. When the gold ran out, miners moved on to richer nearby towns, and it slowly emptied until only one resident remained. The CSKT bison range stretches across wide grasslands, where hundreds of bison now wander the open land that was once taken and later returned to the tribes. Long ago, the government took this land to build a refuge, trapping both the buffalo and the native people who once lived and hunted here together. Bison were nearly wiped out by overhunting, shrinking from millions to just a few hundred before efforts to restore them began. These animals shape the land as they move. Their grazing creates patches of grass that feed elk, deer, and other wildlife. When these giants roll on the ground to scratch or remove bugs, they leave behind hollows that fill with rain and turn into small ponds where wildflowers grow. One touching moment showed a blind old bison getting lost on a road until the younger calves grunted to guide her to safety, proving how much these animals care for each other. Granite grew from bare ground into a busy town after miners discovered a silver vein so dense it became the most valuable in the world. The town was built with separate neighbourhoods for different groups of workers that created strict class and social divisions. Entertainment was everywhere. A bobsled run carved into the mountainside sent people racing down to the town below like a natural roller coaster. It also had saloons, a skating rink, a roller rink, a brewery, and even a soda bottling factory, which gave the town a resort-like feel despite its mining roots. When the silver market crashed, people left, and a fire later destroyed most buildings, leaving only foundations, the superintendent's house, and a few structures. Visitors hear strange voices in the empty ruins, and investigators have recorded unexplained sounds in the old Miners' Union Hall. The Clark Fork River flows through the region as the largest river by volume, fed by many smaller streams and creeks. Its water comes from glaciers that melted during Ice Age floods, which scraped soil down to bare rock and left marks on mountainsides. The river is home to trophy brown and rainbow trout, drawing anglers from across the region, and its marshy edges provide nesting spots where Wilson's snipe do well. With brown and black striped feathers, short legs, and a long straight bill, much longer than its head, this bird is perfectly designed to dig into mud. In flight, it creates a haunting, whirring sound by diving through the air and vibrating its tail feathers like a musical instrument. Thanks to powerful camouflage, it can vanish into the marsh, merging seamlessly with mud and plants and becoming nearly impossible to spot. Coolidge grew quickly in the Pioneer Mountains around a silver mine that promised wealth but never took off. A narrow-gauge railroad was built to carry ore down the mountain, while people lived in tents and log cabins, but the town never had a saloon or church. The ore veins were never fully developed, and a dam failure washed out tracks and bridges, which halted shipments and doomed the mine. Most residents left, and Coolidge stands as a ghost town known as the Boom Town that never boomed, with its mill and buildings crumbling. Custer Gallatin National Forest stretches across a large area and covers 6 separate mountain ranges, with peaks taller than skyscrapers. Granite Peak rises to a dizzying height, with one of the region's most dangerous hikes, while nearby Grasshopper Glacier holds countless insects frozen perfectly in ice. Sadly, climate change is shrinking the glaciers rapidly, and experts warn it could disappear entirely in the coming decades. The forest also borders Yellowstone National Park and connects to the Absaroka-Beartooth area, a gateway to Hebgen Lake. It sits on one of the most tectonically active areas in the region, where the Earth's crust is constantly pulling apart. During a massive earthquake, the lake bed twisted and lifted violently, causing the water to slosh like a bathtub and forming waves called seiches. It reshaped the land, lowered the lake floor, and caused a landslide from a nearby canyon that buried a campground and took many lives. Thermal springs and geysers dot the area because hot water moves through fractured rock, which creates a geothermal hotspot. Western grebes migrate to the area each season to nest and raise chicks, feeding on the abundant fish supported by geothermal waters. Because of this lifestyle, their body shape resembles torpedo submarines, with legs set far back, so they cannot walk on land and must shuffle quickly to water. In addition, their feathers are densely packed and waterproof, but contact with oil can break this barrier and make them lose heat and sink. Moreover, their eyes are specially adapted for underwater vision, with irises that shift instantly from dark water to bright surface light. After prospector Tommy Cruise discovered the Drumlumman mine on Silver Creek, Marysville grew quickly, as the gold vein made him a millionaire almost instantly. From this mine, he earned a fortune with his first claim and later sold it to an English company for a huge sum. As a result, the town soon attracted thousands of miners, becoming a full boomtown with businesses, a post office, a mill, and all the comforts of civilization in the mountains. Among its many legends, the most famous ghost in Marysville is the Lady in Blue, seen walking the streets and hillsides, possibly searching for a lost loved one. Lolo National Forest covers acres of mountains and rivers between the Continental Divide and Idaho, ranking it among Montana's largest protected outdoor spaces. It is situated between continental storms and coastal moisture, and the ecosystem supports hundreds of plant species, mammals, birds, and fish. Western red cedar trees grow bigger here than anywhere else in the state, with immense widths and towering heights like wooden skyscrapers. In these mountains, a fur trapper named Lolo was attacked by a grizzly bear, and the forest was later named for him and the mystery surrounding the incident. During their expedition, Lewis and Clark passed through these peaks, nearly starving as they crossed snow-covered terrain, before reaching native hunting grounds. Hundreds of miles of hiking trails now cross the forest, passing streams and lakes where anglers can fish for trout in pristine waters. Within these remote mountains, bighorn sheep move along steep cliff faces as the area's most skilled climbers and highest predators. Their hooves act like climbing shoes, with sharp outer edges that grab tiny ledges and soft inner pads that grip like rubber, so they walk on cliffs only a few inches wide. They eat grass and clover quickly using their 4-part stomach, then retreat to high ledges where predators cannot reach them. Once safe on a high ledge, they chew their food again for hours, while bacteria breaks it down, which lets them absorb water and survive weeks without drinking. Rams in the Lolo herds move between Sheep Mountain, Wishard Ridge, and Woody Mountain with the seasons, and they go uphill to reach higher grasslands in summer. Mountain lions, golden eagles, wolves, and grizzly bears hunt in the open terrain, causing their first months of life extremely dangerous. Females spend more time walking while foraging to protect their young, while males focus on eating, resting, and digesting to build strength for mating battles. At Holland Lake below, cool water reflects the mountain peaks and offers fish for visitors seeking rest in the forest's only developed camping area. Originally, an early settler built a ranch here and gave the lake his name. Rising above, the Swan Range creates a dramatic backdrop, with Holland Peak capped by glaciers that never fully melt. Additionally, a campground and day use area have made the lake a recreational hub where water skiers, canoeists and swimmers can enjoy the same mountain views. Lion City grew into one of the region's richest mining areas after huge silver veins were found on Lion Mountain, and saloons and brothels appeared before schools. To support mining, a tramway and concentrator helped process ore, but then the silver market crashed after a federal decision, and all the mines closed within months. Only a few structures remain today, and the town sits on a rough mountain road, which keeps it among the most remote ghost towns in the mountains. Yellowstone covers millions of acres across 3 states and sits on top of an active supervolcano with a massive caldera, with about 3% of the park stretching into Montana. In summer, green grasslands, snow-capped mountains and canyons glowing in yellow, red, orange and white fill the area, while steam rises from geysers and hot springs. The ground is alive with thousands of hydrothermal features, including geysers, mud pots and fumaroles, more than anywhere else on Earth. Over 500 geysers shoot boiling water and steam into the air, more than all other places combined. Old Faithful erupts like clockwork, shooting water high with such reliability that visitors often plan their entire day around it. The park has the largest concentration of big mammals in the lower 48 states, including grizzly bears, wolves, cougars, and roaming bison. In Lamar Valley, open grasslands bring predators and prey together, offering some of the most reliable wildlife viewing in the region. It acts as a natural stage, where wolves hunt elk, grizzlies feed on bison kills, and scavengers follow the action. Known as the Serengeti of North America, the valley holds large, visible populations with herds that can be seen from the road. After being reintroduced, grey wolves formed packs that attract wildlife watchers, while bears appear in spring, feeding on winter-killed carcasses, but usually keeping their distance from people. Stretching across wide grasslands, the valley is bisected by the Lamar River, where fish feed and predators hunt along the water. Sunrise and sunset transform the valley as orange and pink light reflects off the river, while bulls move through the grasslands in slow-motion silhouettes. On the valley floor, some of the oldest visible rock formations in the park show limestone and sediment shaped by water and wildlife over thousands of years. Above the meadows, ospreys nest on cliff ledges and dive feet first to catch fish from the river. They have waterproof feathers from an oil gland that lets them dive into water and still fly away with their catch. Ospreys have white undersides, dark brown backs and a black eye mask that helps them hide against the bright sky while hunting. Their outer toes can rotate backward, giving them extra grip, and spiny pads on their feet help hold slippery fish. When hunting, they hover over the water, spot fish from high above, and dive at high speed with legs extended to catch their target. After catching a fish, they hold it headfirst to fly efficiently and shake off water before landing. Despite their skills, ospreys only succeed in catching fish about a quarter of the time, due to wind, water conditions, and struggling prey. Meanwhile, bald eagles watch from nearby and often steal fish by harassing ospreys until they drop their meal. At the old Montana State Prison, prisoners built a secure structure with grey stone walls that couldn't be tunnelled under and took decades to be weatherproof. Beyond its sturdy construction, the prison towers over Deer Lodge with sandstone walls, castle-like turrets, and a massive brick and sandstone cell house that dominates the town. Inside, the harsh conditions continue in solitary cells known as the Hole, where prisoners endured a tiny window that froze in winter and baked in summer for decades. Adding to its eerie reputation, corridors carry strange sounds, cells hold drifting voices, and visitors report phantom music and apparitions, marking it as one of Montana's most haunted sites. Located between the Absaroka Mountains and Beartooth Range near Yellowstone, the town is a mountain haven where wildlife often outnumbers residents. Its name comes from the Crow Indians, who painted their teepees with red clay still visible in the valleys and along riverbanks. The community celebrates the seasons with an annual winter carnival, featuring parades and a carnival queen, attracting visitors as tourism grows year-round. Surrounding the area, the Beartooth Range holds towering peaks and timeless geological wonders. The range is built from some of the oldest rocks on Earth, with pieces dating back billions of years. Its granite cliffs and plateaus were pushed up during a mountain building event, and glaciers carved the valleys and left behind giant piles of rocks called moraines. Beneath the surface, the mountains contain rare metals, like platinum and chromium, hidden within layers of rock. Some visitors have reported eerie sightings of a tall, silent creature with glowing eyes that vanishes mysteriously, nicknamed the Shadow Beast. Fort Benton started as a fur trading post and became a gateway for explorers and traders heading into the West. Its location at the top of the Missouri River made it the furthest point boats could reach upriver, earning it the nickname the birthplace of Montana. As steamboats arrived, the town grew into a busy port for trading pelts and goods, while the fort held tales of outlaws hiding along the river. Over time, the buildings here were made from logs and mud bricks to protect against harsh weather. The ruins still stand as a reminder of its wild past and let visitors see how it helped shape the state's history. Kootenai Falls and Swinging Bridge constitute one of the largest free-flowing waterfalls in the northwest, where the river plunges over rocky cliffs and produces a powerful rush of water. The swinging bridge stretches high above the river, swaying underfoot, and offering visitors an exciting way to cross near the base of the falls. Named for the Kootenai tribe, the site is considered the centre of their world and a place to connect with potent spiritual forces. Close by, colourful dragonflies and damselflies add a lively, natural contrast to the raw power of the falls. Known for their tough wings and strong bodies, these insects stay steady even when winds howl near the falls and the river rushes below. Many dragonflies can thermoregulate, warming their bodies in cool weather to stay active where other insects would slow down. Mostly staying close to their watery home, some species travel short distances to find ponds or slower water where their young can grow safely. Both dragonflies and damselflies are expert hunters, catching most of the flying insects they chase, which helps control pest populations nearby. When hunting, they snap up flying insects mid-air with lightning-fast moves, but must watch out for birds and fish ready to catch them. During mating, males lock onto females mid-air, forming a unique wheel shape, while females lay eggs on plants or rocks underwater, a risky but vital step for survival. Once hatched, their young live underwater first, hunting tiny creatures and avoiding predators before climbing out to become the graceful flyers seen above the river. Coloma started as a mining camp when gold was found in nearby creeks, quickly growing with miners hoping to strike it rich. The Mammoth Mine became the largest operation, producing enough gold to keep a large stamp mill running for years, although much gold remained lost in leftover tailings. Mining tunnels stretched far underground, but repeated fires and financial hardships eventually drove miners away and led to the town's decline. Only a few cabins and old mining remnants survive, while archaeologists investigate the site to understand the lives and struggles of those early miners. Big Sky is one of the largest ski resorts in North America. Despite its size and popularity, it maintains uncrowded runs, so skiers can spend more time on the slopes and less time waiting. It features fast chairlifts, including an 8-seater with heated seats and weatherproof bubbles, providing riders with comfort during the ascent. Beyond winter, the area transforms into a playground for hiking, mountain biking and fishing, with numerous trails winding through wild terrain. The true centrepiece of the area, Lone Mountain draws visitors with its impressive presence. Its steep, challenging terrain attracts skiers and hikers seeking thrilling rides and tough climbs. The Lone Peak Tram offers a unique ride to the summit, with glass floors and panoramic views enhancing the experience. Once a ranching and logging area, this has transformed into a year-round recreation hotspot for skiing, hiking, and horseback riding. These birds are mostly white with patches of dark spots, which help them camouflage against snowy and rocky surroundings. Unlike many owls that hunt at night, they are active during the day, especially under the long daylight hours in winter and summer. Its hunting style involves sitting quietly on elevated spots before swooping down silently to grab rodents and small prey with sharp talons. Thick feathers on the legs and feet protect from cold and rough ground, helping them survive tough conditions. Migration is irregular and often depends on food availability, leading some to travel far south in search of prey, sometimes appearing around the area unexpectedly. Larger birds and harsh weather can pose threats, while human activity like vehicles and environmental changes also create dangers. During mating, males perform aerial displays, while females lay many eggs on the ground, both parents fiercely guarding their young. Gunslinger Gulch began as a mining settlement before being reconstructed into a replica of an Old West ghost town. A former owner transformed the site into a building zoo, a collection of historic structures like a saloon, brothel, jailhouse and cabins, all rebuilt to show life in the late 1800s. When a new family arrived to open a bed and breakfast, their experience took an unexpected turn. They reported strange occurrences, disembodied voices, phantom footsteps, and shadowy figures that sparked widespread paranormal claims. Those stories attract curious visitors and ghost hunters who join overnight investigations to search for signs of the supernatural. Whitefish Lake State Park is known for sandy beaches and clear water, where visitors enjoy boating and swimming in summer. park's lake was once used to harvest ice for food storage, and also supplied water to the town and railroad through old water lines, supporting daily needs and steam engines. Campsites in the park welcome all kinds of visitors, from families to solo travellers, with spaces for tents, rigs and bike campers. Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument marks the site where a fierce battle erupted over land and survival. Archaeologists found bullets and casings at the site that show native warriors used fast lever-action rifles, while soldiers had slower single-shot guns. Visitors can explore trails and memorials across the monument that tell the story of both sides, with mysterious occurrences highlighting the site's haunting past. Many people say they feel transported back in time, witnessing the battle as if it were still unfolding before their eyes. The Stonehouse, an old building on the grounds, is known for strange happenings, including lights turning on by themselves and shadowy figures appearing briefly. Visitors sometimes report seeing ghostly soldiers charging or hearing cries at dusk, as if the fight lingers in the air. The site also has a visitor centre with battle exhibits, monuments like the Granite Custer Monument, and Custer National Cemetery, where many soldiers are buried. The Indian Memorial honours Native American warriors, making the monument unique for recognising both sides of the conflict. Flowing from its beginnings as a tent town for railroad workers, Livingston first carried the name Clark City before moving a few miles north to its present location, guided by the Northern Pacific Railroad. Once the main gateway to Yellowstone, the town lies on the free-flowing Yellowstone River, perfect for fishing, rafting and floats, with the road remaining open year-round. Early on, the town's lively spirit showed through an unusually high number of saloons relative to its small population, hinting at a wild, rowdy reputation. From this lively riverside town, adventurers set out to explore the nearby Absaroka-Beartooth area, an untamed region full of surprises. This area has two mountain types: dark, forested, volcanic peaks with streams, and huge, bare granite plateaus that look like giant rocky tables. The lakes high on the plateaus are filled with trout that seem to live in worlds untouched by time, where the weather changes faster than a blink of an eye. As the adventure continues into the nearby wilds of moose, the stories of this lively land grow more interesting and personal. These animals have strong, dark brown bodies, long legs for snow and water, a broad drooping muzzle, and males sport wide, hand-shaped antlers. In a rare twist, moose feed by using their wide lips to grab plants growing underwater in lakes and streams, a spot many animals can't reach. When it's time to mate, bull moose lock massive antlers in slow, tense battles that look like pushing matches but can be serious fights with thick neck muscles and armoured foreheads. The biggest threats come not only from predators, but also from fires and human changes to their homes. Still, populations bounce back because fresh plants grow quickly after fires, and calves hide quietly for weeks to avoid predators. These unique traits set the stage for exploring the rocks and peaks of the Absaroka range just beyond, where even bigger surprises await. This is what remains of a huge volcanic field, with mountains formed from worn-down volcanoes that once blasted out ash, lava, and giant rocks. Above them, peaks rise over steep valleys, often capped with snow, while the weather can change suddenly, bringing snow even in summer. Although the volcanoes are long inactive, the mountains still show their volcanic past, with steep cliffs and sharp ridges, and some people report strange sounds and lights from underground. Within this harsh terrain, white-tailed ptarmigans find the tough environment they need to live and breed. Small and stocky, the birds have a black bill, white wings and tail, and feathered legs with feet that act like snowshoes so they can walk on snow without sinking. Instead of flying away, ptarmigans mostly run or hide among rocks to save energy, and unlike many birds, they stay in cold, high places year-round. When it gets warm, they take snow baths to cool off, similar to how humans jump into a pool when hot. Their feathers change colour with the seasons, from brown to white, so they fade into rocks or snow, so predators find it very hard to spot them. This is Montana, a land of hidden wonders and remarkable architectural marvels. But there is still so much of our world left to see. Watch our next documentary and discover another place you may never have known existed.